Hi, my name is Brandie Paterakis, and I'm the owner of Blue Bee Counseling Services. I'm a mother and wife who is passionate about life and has found joy in helping others improve their mental health. The goal of this podcast is not only to provide enriching entertainment, but to help others in their pathway to have a more fulfilling life. This in no way is a replacement for therapy. Follow us on this journey of mental health awareness. Blue Bee Counseling Services now presents this podcast, Therapist Table Talk. Hi, thanks for tuning in to Therapist Table Talk. My name is Brandie Paterakis. I am the owner of Blue Bee Counseling Services located in South Jordan, Utah. Today, I am here with a bunch of my friends, and I'm super excited because this is one of the Therapist Table Talks that I have been looking forward to for the last 2 months. And so we're going to talk about some really big things today, which is really exciting. So let me introduce you to my friends. Do you want to start?
Yes, my name is Logan, and I am currently in the BSW program through University of Utah, so I am learning all of this and going into social work, so.
Yay! Yeah. And we also have my friend Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Jensen. I am a CSW, and I work down the street, not too far.
Yes. So this is great. A couple of things. We have some really great news. First of all, if you want to see any of this or you want to view us, you can tune in to YouTube under Therapist Table Talk, and you can watch this. And those of you that are watching already, congratulations. This is super exciting. You can also tune into our website at bluebeecs.com to look at any papers or rewatch our podcast, see the other things that we have going on at Blue Bee Counseling Services. Now, here's the time, you guys. I'm really super excited because I really have. I've been looking forward to this. I love the holidays, and the holidays are coming up. I don't know. It's that special thing. I'm not one of those crazy people that pulls out all my holidays the day after Halloween, but like there's a part of joy that kind of comes over me, and that anticipation starts building, and I kind of go to that place of like jumping from pretty much from Halloween, because I'm an avid Halloween lover, as you can tell. I love The Nightmare Before Christmas, but it just stays up all year. But I do love the excitement of like the anticipation of gathering with friends, gathering with family, and being around the table, talking about fun things, doing fun things as a family, and holding like some really great traditions. And so this is like my mojo. This is my excitement. Yeah. I'm really excited. So Kim, tell us a little bit about like what do you guys do for the holidays? What are you planning this year?
So this year's going to be different than most years for us. We're way into traditions and stuff, but this year we have a wedding this weekend.
Oh!
To start it off.
Dang!
Right? And then into Thanksgiving. And then at Christmas, we'll need to go back for a reception in Virginia. So that's not something we've usually done.
No.
So, yeah, working around that.
Flying, is Virginia home, or is it just...
No, that's the bride's home.
Oh, the
I'm
bride's
the mom
home.
of the groom, and the bride's home is in Virginia. So that's where we're headed.
Oh my gosh. Well, you have a very busy holiday season.
Super busy, so it's funny to have you asked to talk about stress during the holidays.
You're like, it hasn't even started, and I'm already stressed.
I like giggled when I saw it.
You're like, what in the world? I'm like,
maybe I need this.
Yeah, maybe. I think we all do.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why this is such a great topic, is to talk about, having family relationships and the stress that can come at the holidays. Logan, tell us what you're doing for the holidays this season.
I just got married this year, so it's kind of like that new navigation of like how to spend the holidays with like in-laws and family, and like even creating our own like traditions, like with me and my husband. And so like for Christmas morning this year, we're wanting just to do our own, like open up our gifts that we've been like, giving each other, do our own little breakfast, and kind of start our own tradition that way, but then spend time with family like the rest of the like Christmas Eve and Christmas. And so I mean there's stress in the fact of like expectations of like, well, this family has this party at this time, and like the in-laws have the same party at the same time, and so like really navigating that can be stressful. But I mean, it's the holidays. I'm just excited for the food. I'm like, the food is what gets me going.
I love that show on Ever After when she shows up and they're like, she's like, why are you here? And she's like, well, I'm just here for the food.
Yeah,
I love
right.
that part. It's like one of my favorite shows. I love that. Well, this is awesome. So we have a lot of fun traditions that happen during the holidays, and it is hard to break away from tradition.
Yes.
And it's hard to like navigate new starts and do new things. And so I think that this is going to be a really great talk today about discussion on how to help our viewers and those people that are out there that have to go home for the holidays or try something different like the both of you are doing, and also navigating a new or sticking with the old, right? For me, one of the fun things that we love to do is we do breakfast on Christmas morning, and we usually invite a family that we don't usually get to have a ton of time with from like the neighborhood. So we kind of invite a family over and we do breakfast on Christmas morning. And then a great thing that I love is a long time ago, my mom started this tradition where it was, we used to fight a lot on Christmas Eve. And so now, because we used to fight a lot on Christmas Eve, she started the tradition of, hey, let's do something fun on Christmas Eve to stop the fighting with the young children. So instead of us cleaning and fighting on Christmas Eve, we used to fight now on the day before Christmas Eve.
That works for me.
So we clean up the house, get it all ready, and then on Christmas Eve, we'd go bowling and we would watch a movie and go out to lunch and do some fun things. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. So we kind of keep that tradition now. Even my old teenagers and my young adults love to go and do the fun activities we have on Christmas Eve.
I love when the kids want to do the things they remember from their childhood, I think. It's fun.
Yeah, that is true. That is special. So, well, let's dive into some statistics. Logan?
Okay, that's me. Well, some statistics that I have would be from MarketWatch.com specifically. There were a couple of points. So it says 60% of people who usually fly home will not. And this is based on the cost and anxiety in dealing with the crowded airlines, which is like so true. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, even just flying in general is already so stressful, let alone, like, on the holidays when, like, the prices... I know, like, for, like, my family, my in-laws are flying in, my sister-in-law and her daughter, and, like, costs were, like, tripled, if not quadrupled of what
bad.
Yes, what the prices are. And we're like, we just want to see them. Like, no, this is so hard.
That's so unfair.
Yes.
The airlines taking advantage of families.
Christmas Day because of that. It was the cheapest you could do was to fly on Christmas Day.
I think she's flying in the day after because of, like, it's just so expensive. And then even then, the flights are, like, gone. Mm-hmm. They're already booked. And so it's kind of sad with that. But I don't blame them. 60% of people feel that, like, won't fly home even if they can. And then it says 65% of people claim that they get anxiety in thinking about going home for the holidays. Oh, and that's like a really high number.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think, can we add like being around family at all during the holidays or like navigating the holidays? It is more stressful.
Right. For sure. And then, let's see, 70% say that staying home for the holidays is way too long, which is true. I guess you don't have to stay home the whole time.
Why are we going for 2 weeks when we can just make it a 2-dayer?
Right.
Yeah.
And then let's see, 73% of people bond with their loved ones during the holidays. So it sounds like there's a lot of anxiety, but then you can still create those bonds. And then, this is specifically with the pandemic. 75% of people say that they have more anxiety in going home in anticipation after the pandemic, which is interesting because, I mean, that was like, went up 10% after the pandemic. And then, 77% say they look forward to spending time with their families this year. Huh. So even though there's that what? So let's see. 65% of people that have that anxiety and still 77% say that they look forward to.
It's that and. I'm excited and I'm totally scared to do it.
Yes. So much anxiety, but it'll be so fun.
Yep.
I find that so interesting. And also, can we also say that I also ran across a statistic that talked about how 80-something% of the population actually celebrates Christmas. And 70% actually celebrate Thanksgiving. So we live, and this is in America, so we live in this world or in this area where it's highly celebrated by over more than half of the general public. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of understandable how this becomes such an important thing and an important topic to talk about is that anxiety. Well, here's the thing. So why why are the statistics so high? Let's talk about some of the things that are causing these people to struggle with the holidays. It's supposed to be a fun time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year, right? Well, that's what they say in all the songs. So why are we struggling? Why is everybody struggling so much in the holidays? And I think a lot of you viewers or listeners at home probably are thinking of some things and they're like, say this and say this. So right now, I feel like we're on like Jeopardy or one of those talk shows where it's like we're trying to reveal the number or the cause here and try to guess all of our viewers' thoughts at home. So let's do it. Let's guess their thoughts. What are they thinking that's causing so much anxiety and stress during the holidays?
Well, I mean, I talked about, like, the whole in-law situation. Like, that's so hard, especially if in, like, let's say I have some friends that they live in a different state, and then both of their families are in two completely different states. And, like, first of all, cost, like, I'm a young adult in school. Like, I just got married. You know what I mean? For other friends and people my age that have that situation, you can't fly home to both families, like, realistically. And, like, even just that would be so stressful, or, like, that fighting, like, whether it's in between, like, you and your spouse of, like, which family are we going to, like, sacrifice our money and sacrifice the cost and time to, you know, go spend with. So I think that might be something too, is like that sacrifice of time and money within that.
Yeah. And I think hurting people's feelings
Hurting people's feelings, yes.
Well, it's expectations, isn't it? It's like our expectations of what we want it to look like, what we want the holidays to be like, but also the expectations of our mother-in-laws, or right, like everyone else's expectations.
That is totally true. That's rough.
The expectations, I think we get so bogged down with what we expect has to happen, what we should do, and what it should look like, right?
Yes.
It's stressful.
That is true. I think that's a big part of it, is like navigating these expectations and putting them in a healthy range where we can accomplish good things. Like, I think if I'm going to go visit this side of the family and I know, like, Uncle Johnny's on this side of the family, you know, I might have to lower my expectations a little bit more because I know Johnny's really super angry a lot of the time and he causes a lot of family disturbances. Where if I go and visit this side of the family over here, then maybe Cousin Kate is super fun. And so my expectations can be a little bit higher because I know that this is actually my family. So my expectations are going to probably pan out the way I want them to pan out a little bit easier. So.
We always sit our kids down and ask what they want.
Oh, that's a good...
Right, because I feel like as a mom, I was always trying to make everything perfect for everyone, right? And I don't know what their perfect is. And so we always ask, what of everything we do in the holiday season, what has to happen this year? Like, which ones do you want the most? And let everyone have a say in what we do.
I can see that Kim is like a pleaser. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Like, I don't want you to have any expectations that I can't hit, so you tell me what they are.
You do it in the right way.
Yes, you do it in the right way.
Well, like my son, he's vocalized, he's the youngest, and he's not happy that on Christmas Day we're flying to Virginia.
Yeah, that's
So we said, okay, what has to happen for you to be okay?
Oh, that's a good thing. I'm so curious. You have to tell me, what did he say?
He has to have Christmas morning. He has to have the breakfast, open the presents, the family. So we did a later flight, and he gets Christmas morning, and then he said he'll be okay.
Oh my gosh.
He did say he's getting married between their birthdays, though, and they just have to come and have no birthday.
That's
I don't get a Christmas, you don't get a birthday.
Really funny. I was like, all right.
You know what? We're setting boundaries.
Right?
That's what we're
Exactly.
doing.
So, yeah.
Oh, that is great.
And, like, I think traditions, like, some people get so set in the traditions of, like, this has to happen. But then, like, the rest of the family doesn't want to do that. And so I think that's great to, like, sit down and be like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's figure out, like, what's going to happen, what we're going to do, rather than, like, as parents being like, okay, this is exact, like, tradition. And then the kids are like, well, I don't want to do this.
So more mindful,
I want to sleep in Christmas morning, or, like, I don't want to, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, but, yeah.
That is funny. I think that has a lot to do with a lot of things here. Because I think those expectations of the change of the traditions is so important. And being willing to, like, mold with it and go with it, I think is a big thing. We talk about, like, giving the gift. And I think that is, like, one of the ones is giving the gift of being able to say, ooh, like, I don't want to do this, but I know that this is really important for you, and I might be willing to change my ideas along it to make you happy. And I think, I mean, it is a season for gift giving.
Well, it's a
it?
give and a take, right? I'm going to do things you really love, and you're going to do things I really love. And this is what you guys are going to do this year. You're going to come together with your new traditions, his old ones and your old ones, and create this new environment that you'll take with you. So,
yes, I think that is so awesome. So that is kind of a big thing. What else do we notice kind of causes some complications during the holiday season?
Probably gift giving too, like that figuring out like what to give your loved ones, or like having that stress of like, oh, what if this person gives me a gift and I didn't give them a gift, or like, or even they give you a gift and you didn't have a gift for them, and so there's just
we
a
should
lot
totally
of like
start a poll on that. Like the poll of the viewers, like how many of you buy extra gifts to put them away in a closet somewhere, or
Just
set them
in
right by the
case.
door just in case someone happens to stop by? And I think even here in Utah, that could be probably a little higher than most people, because we know our neighbors, and there's this religious community that's here that everyone feels like they have to give a lot of gifts to a lot of neighbors and fun things. And that is one of those anxiety moments, especially for me. And so I love that you hit on that, is I feel the need of like, oh, I don't want to disappoint somebody, and I don't want someone to feel bad. So I do have those extra gifts on the side. In fact, that's funny now that we're talking about this, because I do have a neighbor that my kids always fight on taking the gift over to her house, because she gives them a gift right when they give it to her. And there's something about that immediate please that you get when you go like this. In fact, there was a time when I actually forgot that I dropped a gift off to that neighbor, and my daughter was doing some routes of like some dropping off gifts, and she went and dropped off another gift, and she got another one. And so it
amazing.
it was a win.
well, I'm not a gift giver, so it's a stressful, like that's not my language, and so it's stressful to like give gifts, because some people are so good at it.
Yes.
And I'm not that person. Like once in a while I hit it, but not usually.
It
so
is
then
hard.
I feel in the stress of it all. Did they give the right thing? And
Yeah.
the store, everything.
Yes. I have this group of ladies that we gather together and we do the favorite things. And so we have to choose our favorite thing from the whole year, and we bring it as a gift, and we exchange, and like we kind of do this fun little fight over the gifts. Yes.
Because then you don't have to like worry about giving like that person specifically like a good gift.
Well, I'm just telling you what I like.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of the stress off.
Yeah, it does.
If you don't
Except
like
for
it,
then I get worried, because I want people to like what I like. So then I'm really trying to think about like, well, this is what I would like, but I know that that's not what wins the what wins the favoritism.
There's no winning.
Yeah.
There's no winning. You're
still
just gonna have anxiety.
That, even.
It is so true. So I think we set ourselves up, but how many of us do that with the gifts? Because there's a lot of white elephant gifts, or like bring a traditional family fun gift to exchange, and so those exchanging gifts can be really difficult.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How do you think we set like some boundaries around that, and like allow some thoughts of like letting some of those expectations go in that?
I think that has to be on you, right? You decide. Right? If you're sitting here stressing it, you're the only one stressing it. Like it doesn't, you have to choose that it doesn't matter, that it's okay. Yeah, right? It's back to that control of you taking control of what I'm going to feel and what I'm going to do.
I do love that. That is completely true. And allowing other people to maybe hate your gift. My kids hate that. My kids hate the gift giving thing, because they will bring this really funny gift. Like they used to have these fugly dolls that have like these weird teeth everywhere and like eyeballs popping out and stuff. And my kids think they're hilarious for white elephant gifts. And so they go to these parties and they do this white elephant gift, and they do it because they're expecting a big response, right? And then when they go and the girl's like, "Ew, that's so ugly," and hops it across the room, they feel bad. And I'm like, no,
they're expensive, because they're like out of stock now. Like they don't sell them anymore. Those ones.
I should have bought a big storage room of them.
Yeah,
the kid's favorite.
Yes.
So then they're like, I just want all of this work to find this like doll that I thought was hilarious.
Yes.
And no one even wants it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll just take it. Just give it. Yeah. Like just get your own gift, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. So there are expectations that are kind of, and especially I think trying to think of a special gift, like for your mother-in-law or for your mom or for like a sister or a brother or for that family down the street. And I think that can be really hard to like navigate what would they like And so this, I kind of wonder if this is like Christmas all year long. Like you're constantly thinking, like January comes and I'm like, okay, what's on that list? Like I've got my pen out and I'm like,
Right.
Tell me what it is that you would like so that I can make that special for you, And so I think that can be really hard to like listen and hear and then remember a whole year later or 6 months later when you do figure out that thing.
Well, don't you feel like it's all chopped on top of each other? It's the stress of the gifts, but then you also have to be at the party, and then you have to, right? Like, it's all of it together.
You have to look nice, too.
Exactly. If all I had to do was the gifts, I could do it. But it's having all of it.
And then you have to bring a food item, and then you have to stress about if they like the food that you brought and made and all that time.
Yes, and what am I going to wear? Like, is this cocktail formal, or is this just a holiday sweater, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that can be very difficult. So I love it that we talked about the gift giving. I think conflict, like everybody has such different opinions nowadays and such different views on things. And I think that's the beautiful part of what makes the world so uniquely different for all of us. But at the same time, I think sometimes that can be really hard navigating those when you're coming into view, especially when you have some really big belief systems. And then to go to a family where they're mocking those or making fun of those or disagreeing with those or trying to talk you out of those. Right.
This is just letting you have your own belief system.
Yeah. And I think sometimes I even find that we do that to them too. Like when we go to the holiday parties and we're like, you need to believe the same way I believe. Like, and this is why, and this is going to make you happy. I'm happy because of it. Why wouldn't you be happy because of it? And like coming to that norm of recognizing, no, that's not true. Like, just because it makes me happy, it might not necessarily make them happy.
Right.
And wouldn't that be a sad thing if they did start believing that way and it starts not making them happy?
Yeah.
And takes them down that road of like feeling really bad about themselves or struggles. And so I think it's that constant changeover of like recognizing how my belief system is my belief system and it's okay. And I don't have to require you to have my belief system. Right. And I'm not required to have yours either.
Right. So I'm not going to join in the conflict.
Yes.
Right? I'm not going to add my 2 cents to it.
Yes. Yeah. And we might have to like agree to disagree, or we might have to be very strategic on how we change the subject.
Yep.
And that seems to be like the holiday thing.
Yep. Sometimes I'm obvious in changing the subject. Like, wow, do you see the weather? Right? And my brother usually catches it then.
Yeah, that's true. So be obvious. Kim's done. And so use the weather like Kim did. Right. You know? Yeah. Ooh, those mashed potatoes look delicious. Yes. Let's eat some.
I'm going to go get some more.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think it's also totally fair to set some expectations before you even arrive to the party.
Yes.
Such as, I know that like a year ago or so, there was the whole political candidates and they were all trying, the voting season was here and everybody, it seemed that was coming through my office, especially during November.
All they wanted to talk about.
Yes. And even after the elections were over.
Yep.
You know, there was a lot of huff and gruff and upset people, and then having to go home and navigate this with their families that believe completely different than they do.
Right.
And it seemed to be a very hot topic that everybody wanted to talk about. And I think for good reason. I think we wanted to talk about it because I think we were all in so much distress over it.
Right.
And so being able to have communications with our family and loved ones about it and to feel like an ally is around the corner or in that room with us, I think is such an important thing. But setting those boundaries maybe before you go to the family party.
Right. Or have what you're going to say set up already, right? Like if you know which ones are going to do what. Yes. So if Uncle Joe starts the topic, you already know how you're going to change it, right? Yeah. Or already know that you're just going to accept it and sit there, or just have your plan in place so you can be calmer and less anxious when the moment arises.
I love that. Have a plan in place. I think that is a beautiful thing. I think that it's also really great. Sometimes I've had to tell my clients, like, hey, call up your sister and say, this is really uncomfortable for me. Yep. Would it be okay if we don't talk about this? You know, at this time for right now.
Yep.
Right?
I remember getting a text last year at Thanksgiving from a client on Thanksgiving morning. He's like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. like, because they're so anxious and they're seeing so-and-so for the first time since the big fallout and all those things. And it's like, okay, calm down. You already have a plan. Yeah. Calm down. Right? Remember.
Yes, you have a plan. And the plan's important. And it might not go exactly to plan.
Or talk to somebody else so they know, right? So it's not, you're not alone. This is your family.
Yeah.
deep down they love each other. So just remember that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I really, really like that. I think one thing in the holidays too that kind of causes a little bit of that anxiety and going is that overstimulation. Like, I think that there's sometimes we live alone and quiet lives. Like, I have 2 teenagers that live in my home and 2 adults that are in my family. But so my house is, even with the 2 teenagers, is relatively a little bit more quiet than when I had 4 young little girls running around
changed.
Screaming, you know? And so I'm not used to like having as that much excitement in my home. And so going to a family party and then everyone's excited, and so everyone's talk is more elevated and that anticipation is kind of in the air, so you have a little bit more emotions than what we're used to or what I'm used to. And so like recognizing that, I think, is really important, that emotions and the anticipation and all the excitement and the volume can all like totally be a massive destruction of warfare that happens inside that family. And so I think if we can go recognizing that that's going to be the case, it can be helpful. I think we're also overly touched sometimes. By different people than we're not used to being touched by.
A lot more hugs than you wanted.
Yes. A lot more hugs, a lot more kisses. A lot more holding babies. Right. Because sister might have a baby and you're not used to holding baby for 3 hours to help sister out, or she's navigating the 2 younger ones.
There's a lot of that.
Or even taking the kids in the other room and playing with them so all the adults can have a moment. I think it's that acceptance of recognizing like, whoa, these are some big things that I'm not normally used to.
But also remembering it's only for a few hours.
Yes.
Right? You're going to do it. It's going to be this neat moment that you get to spend with your little niece. And then they're going to go home.
Yes. And if this is for our viewers and our listeners, if you are one of those people that have to travel away for the holidays and you're living in that moment, that can be really complicated. And so I think just recognizing...
Or you're the host of it.
Oh, you're the host. You can't escape.
It's just as bad.
Yeah. Or worse.
They're in all your spaces.
Yes. And they stay too long. Like you're expecting Thanksgiving to last for 2.5 hours. And it's like hour 5. And you're like, I don't have stuff to entertain these people. And they're lounging on my couch. And I'm really tired and want to take a nap because we all...
And their kids' sticky fingers are next to everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Which is totally true. And so for all of those things... I think that can be like a little bit difficult.
For sure.
So I think the great part about this is let's set some boundaries, right? Let's recognize that, first of all, that this is going to be a problem. Maybe you don't stay at the family's house. Maybe you actually get
a hotel.
A hotel or an Airbnb.
If you can, yeah.
Yeah, if you can.
Or and even go for a walk with your kids or go to the mall and hang out with them. We always have to take ours away, right? Just because even the cousins, they love each other and they're so excited to be together, but then they've been together too long.
Yeah.
Right? And then the fights start and it's just...
they start acting like siblings.
Exactly. So we always try to have something we've planned to go away just and get them out for a little while.
Yeah, maybe it's the time where it's like, who wants to go to a movie? Let's go to a movie.
Right.
You know, and which one's the longest one?
Right.
Which one's the longest?
Which one's the longest one?
Right.
And then after everyone's walking home, all the kids are walking home from the movie theater. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's snowing. No,
just do it anyway.
Yeah. So it's finding those boundaries and setting that time. I also think that this is really important. I had to work with a client who does get overly stimulated during the holidays, and she can feel it. And I think it's recognizing what your body's telling you. My body is telling me that I'm starting to get anxious. You know, I can feel the anxiety in my arms.
My brother-in-law wears, like he has
hearing aids.
No, he wears like earplugs. We can't see them, and he just smiles. And then one day I'm like, dude, you have earplugs in. He's like, I can't do the kids. Like 5 hours of kids screaming, it just makes him get a migraine, and he doesn't want to be the person who doesn't show up to things, so he wears earplugs.
I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he can still hear, but he's got it muffles it a bit for him.
He problem solved in order to give you...
Otherwise, he couldn't be here.
Yeah.
And he would stay home.
I love that. I love that idea. I would tell some of my clients, just go in the garage.
Yep.
Nobody usually likes the garage. It's kind of a little bit brisk and cold. It'll slap you in the face a little. Like, go in the garage, just breathe some cool air, take a moment of time, look at your phone,
remember
sit
why
on
you're
the stairs. Yep. Go sit in your car outside for a moment.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's nice to say, hey, everyone, I'm not abandoning you, all of you, but I'm going to take a little breather, or I have to answer some emails really fast. I know it's the holidays. Oopsie.
Or have a person in the room that you can say, okay, I'm tapping out.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I always, my husband always knows, like, I'm going to disappear at some point during this day. And I just tap him and I walk out. And nobody knows, and he covers for me while I'm gone.
I love that. We create allies and have those people that are so kind. That is awesome. I love that. I think that it's also really great we've talked a little bit about some of the complications of the holidays, like why we're feeling so much stress, why we're feeling so much anxiety. And I hope that we hit your top ones on your guys' list at home and our viewers and listeners. But I also think that we also have to have, once we recognize it, now we can do something about it.
Right.
So when we recognize those things that are really bugging us, or that we're fearful or feeling a little bit more anxious about, come up with some solutions, come up with some problem solving techniques, recognizing your body and how it's responding, and then doing something about it. And then I think that could be really helpful, as well as adding in a couple of strategies, some tips and tricks to allow the holidays to kind of win.
Yep.
Instead of, I'm done with this, out the world, I'm done with holidays, I'm just going to stay home and be the Grinch.
Yeah.
Or Scrooge.
We don't want that, right?
Yeah. We don't want that. So finding a way that you can navigate the holidays so that you can have that. Sometimes I'll go to that question, which is if we could wave the magic wand.
Right.
And we could allow the holiday to be the perfect holiday for you, within reason, what would be the first thing that you noticed that changed?
Yeah.
What would you notice that would be different than before? And then how do we make that happen so that you can fight for you? And I think sometimes there's that expectation too, where we put it on other people.
Right.
You need to make my expectations
happen. It'd be great if this happened, right? Well, no, I only get to control me. I don't get anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big thing, is recognizing that you have all the power in the world to make yourself happy. Yep. There's a couple of things that I want some strategies and some tips and tricks, and maybe Kim, you can jump in, or Logan, on these. I just wrote a list, so I'm going to kind of go down the list, and we can jump in if you hear one that you want to talk about. But allowing the family to win, that's a big one. Giving the ability to allow your family to win so that you can show up and be present and be there. And sometimes I think it's having that acceptance of who your family is in order to do that. And being oh, Uncle Henry, he has some personality deficiencies, and there's some things that are kind of getting in the way for him that allows him not to really be able to function in our family setting the way I would like him to function. Right. And so therefore having some acceptance in that is kind of a big thing. Connecting with things that matter. Bring something that matters to you that reminds you of your family members. Maybe bring some stress balls. Maybe bring a little ribbon tied around your arm or around your wrist or around your finger that says, hey, remember, we love our family. Right. Let's not destroy the family while we're trying to have a holiday together with the family. Yes. And so...
Well, and with connect, so the point was connect with things that matter. I have a friend that, when she's with family, it's just all fighting. They all have different personalities. They don't really get along. So what she does is she comes with, items or topics to talk about that they connect with. So her and her sister connect with makeup, and that's the only connection that they have. Yep. That's the only thing that relates to one with another, and that's what she does. Is she comes with topics to talk about makeup. What products are you using? Look, I brought these products. What are your thoughts on these? And so that's how she connects with her family. She finds that one little thing that she can connect with, and then even if you're just with them for a couple of hours for that party, just talk about what you connect with. It doesn't have to be talking about political views or all of these different beliefs that are different, but just finding out.
Let's watch some TikToks on makeup.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And once you recognize that, I think that's the key to success, is recognizing those things that you do connect with the family members. I know sometimes it's really easy. We like to play games because we don't have to really connect with anyone.
Right.
If we play games, because the game just kind of takes over the natural discussion, which could be helpful. So maybe plan on bringing in a couple games that could be helpful. That's
and you
easy.
still connect when you play the games. You have fun and.
Yeah, you do connect. And sometimes you might find some topics to discuss that you didn't know was there.
Right.
So,
Well, I love that you're coming prepared with the topics because it's also showing the person that you care about them. You know enough about them to bring up something, right? I'll do my nieces and nephews' Instagram accounts before I go, right? See what they've been doing lately so that I can talk. And I make a point to talk to each one of them before the night's over, and there's a lot of them, so
so you do your homework before you
do your homework.
Yeah. But you know stuff you know what's going on, but once in a while one's coming from out of state that I don't know as well.
I think that is such a beautiful thing, is allowing that to win and to take over.
You have to decide what kind of aunt do I want to be, right? What kind of sister do I want to be? Because I only get to control what I want to be. So
that is so true. I love that. What a beautiful thing. And I think that allows your family to win.
Yep.
So it's a great thing. A couple other things on here is letting the small things go. Let's not fight over everything. Can we just let other people win the discussion?
Pick your battles. Don't do everything.
Yeah, and I think the smarter person actually is the one that can formulate and regulate their emotions to allow that to happen.
Right.
And so it's like being emotionally intelligent. Watch your tone and temperament.
Yep.
Yeah, and the way you say things could be hurtful, so be careful on that. Finding the place of peace, creating boundaries. Like, this is the time that I can come with my family, and this is what I'm willing to bring.
Yep.
Instead of the mother-in-law who's like, I want you to come all day. And it's okay to disappoint mom.
Right.
And say, no, I'm only going to be there for 3.5 hours.
Right. Mine's my mom tells you what to bring and how to make it.
Oh. And here's the recipe. Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'll do my own if you want me to bring it. So that's been my boundary, right?
Yeah.
And she's discovered she likes my cooking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But it took a while.
That is fabulous. So see, we can all do this.
Way to set the boundary, though.
Yes,
That's the hard part.
Yes, it is so hard. Radical acceptance is also important. It's not all right or okay, but we go with it because we can, and we give that gift to our families. Recognizing that, Uncle Tony is a little crazy.
Right.
I think can be helpful. You know?
Warning your kids ahead of time that Uncle Tony's a little crazy.
Yeah, warning your kids. Or even the fact that, like, Sister Sally might have some kids that are really, really disobedient or rude. Like, that can be helpful to recognize. We do a lot
of the hosting at our house. And so we've always said beforehand, like, if there's something in your room you don't want played with or broken, and I always have a box, and they put it all in the box, and we put it in the closet in my room, so that
that's genius.
Yeah, because otherwise you don't, kids don't have the same rules in their house that you have.
Yes.
So if it's important to you, please come bring it to the box now, and they just will go get whatever they don't want played with, and we put it in the closet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Smart.
That is very smart. I have a friend that will she changes the doorknobs on all of her kids' rooms, and she locks them all.
Oh, gee.
And she's like, this is the only room we're allowed to play in.
Right, and that's okay, too. That's a good boundary, right?
Yep, it is.
Because you have to clean the mess up when they leave.
Yes, I love
not
that.
Everyone cleans it before they leave.
Right.
It also talks about finding ways to allow people to have their beliefs without you trying to change them. Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with those things that make you smile while feeling in the depths of hell when you're with a family. If you have depths of hell, right? Maybe you don't.
Just go with laughter, right? Yeah. Like, go with humor. See what the silly things they're doing. Be like, oh my goodness, that's going to be a good one to tell my friend tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't
the positive in it.
Yes.
Feel happy.
Be aware of yourself and your own temperament, what may bug you. Mm-hmm. Like, I think recognizing that. I think it's also fair to recognize what other people's are and not, like, not giving that gift or giving that gift to them to not talk about that thing, even though you so want to talk about that thing.
Because you'd like to see your brother, like, jump.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why is it the time of season where we want everyone to be happy, but we poke them the hardest?
Right.
So funny. It talks about giving the gift of letting things win or your family win. Shifting expectations, we talked about those. And don't hold everything on one day. Maybe spreading it out a little. Yeah. Do a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow and, calling it good.
Yeah. Some things like planning, right?
Yeah.
Plan the holiday season out.
Yep, exactly.
With downtime.
That's right, with downtime.
Self-care time.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So important to have. And I think this is the most important one, and this is the one that I kind of wanted to end on today, but it's up to you to have a good time. It's up to you for your attitude to change. It's up to you to allow, like, the holidays to win for you. Mm-hmm. And if you really have some expectations around the holidays of what you need in order to make the holidays win, like, you be the person that steps in to do those things to allow the holidays to win for you.
So empowering.
Yes. And recognizing that you are a powerful person and that you're valuable and it's important. If that's important to you, then finding ways to make that happen.
Stick up for yourself.
Yes. Can we also say that it's also okay not to surround yourself with family if you choose not to surround
There's
yourself
okay
with
to say
family?
some no's in here.
Yes.
Right? It's
For
okay. It's good for everyone to hear some no's once in a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is very helpful. And it's okay to book that trip to Cancun.
Right.
Or get out of the valley or go somewhere different, try something new. I have a friend that's like, I spend so much money flying home to see my family on the holidays that I actually don't get to take a trip for myself through the year.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes that is a valuable thing because family's important.
Exactly.
And she wants
That's
to
what
have
you
that.
want, then do it.
But if it's not, and it ends up being one of those things that you hate and dread and you wish you weren't there the whole entire time, maybe consider changing some patterns.
You don't have to do
beliefs.
everything at the holidays, right? Plan to go see your family at a different time.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law used to come every year at the holidays, and one year she goes, I'm not happy. Everyone gets sick, right? We passed around all the colds to each other, and she just like, that's it. And after that, we moved it to the spring, and we have a great time every spring with them. Because nothing else is going on. We plan for the week, and we just decided holidays weren't the time to do it.
I love that.
Be outside the box. Think about it for a minute. Where's another way to do it?
That is actually a beautiful thing. I love that. Well, while we're ending today, I just want to throw one little thing out there. I want to talk about those new therapists that are just coming in. Those therapists that are trying new things and doing new things. So what do you think would be some good things to help new therapists that are out there navigating with their clients that are coming into the office?
Definitely breathing, right? I teach them how to calm themselves down because some of this will make us really anxious. I think definitely reminding them that to just know this is normal, right? Normalize this. My friend's a police officer and he says Thanksgiving's the worst day of the whole year to work.
Yeah.
They get more calls than any other day, right? It's just normalize it, like help them calm.
That's a beautiful thing. I love that. I think it's also important for them to recognize, like, just to have acceptance and understanding of like what's happening, could be really good. That all of our body systems are like on red alert and on fire right now.
We're not getting the sleep we should be getting.
Yeah, the stress of the holidays of figuring out that perfect gift, figuring out what it is and how we want to set boundaries.
Right.
I think it's also helpful to not fall into the trap of telling your client what boundary they should be holding.
Sometimes I go ahead and let them have that conversation of worst case scenario. Go ahead. What's the worst thing that could happen? Go ahead. Right? Kind of get it out. It's really usually not as bad as we think it is, right? We make up in our head so much. When we take it out of our head and spit it out, it's not as bad. Or we can come up with a suggestion on how to fix that.
Yeah.
Or let them come up with a suggestion on how to fix that.
Yes, I love that. I love that. It's good. What do you think, Logan?
I mean, I'm not a therapist myself, but I'm sure for those therapists out there, like just putting themselves in their shoes and like understanding like what is anxious, like, that anxiety for them, because sometimes for us it's like, oh, that's not a big deal. Right. You know what I mean? So, but really to be like, okay, this is big to you. Right. Let me help, like, reciprocate that in a sense of like, okay, yeah, like this is a big deal. Let's come up with some ways. And so just like reciprocating that to help the therapist to, and the client to be able to like put that trust and be like, okay, yeah, like let's set some plans, let's set some boundaries.
Help them recognize their strengths.
Yes.
That they already have within them.
That is beautiful. Yeah, because I love that. I think that is perfect. And it's also recognizing those things that like how our body is telling us, recognizing what is their body telling them and how do we navigate that now that we know? Because once we know and we have that eye-opening moment where we can see, oh, I'm in this place because my body's telling me I'm in this place. Now what do we do about it?
I'm not going back to my old habit of ignoring it.
Yes.
Right? What am I going to do now that I know what these feelings are?
Yes, I love that, which is so great. So these are all been really great tips and tricks. And I hope that, I learned some stuff today. So I'm sure that each one of us have learned some stuff today. Could be really helpful in navigating the holidays with friends and family. So if you're interested on how to navigate the holidays with friends and family, this could be a really great time to like discuss some tips and tricks with your own friends and family. What do they do? Ask some questions out there. See some of the things that they navigate and how they hold expectations and ways that they've overcome certain situations. And maybe that'll give you some great ideas too, which could be really helpful. So Thank you so much for joining us. We're so grateful that you're here today, and we hope that you have a wonderful holiday with your family. Thanksgiving for us is in 2 weeks, and Christmas is just right around the corner. So this is out just in time in order to help you guys navigate the holidays with your friends and family. If you have any questions, jump onto our website at bluebcs.com. You can find all sorts of fun handouts, tips, and tricks there that you might be interested in. And until then, we're hope to see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.